Hey, what's going on, guys, and welcome back to the WaxMode channel. In today's video, this is going to be my first impressions and an overview of the new Griot's Garage Ceramic 3-in-1 Wax. And so they've entered into the fray now. This is their first dip into the consumer ceramic market. And ceramic 3-in-1 wax here is their most durable form of spray protection that they offer for the exterior of your car. You can use it on paint, you can use it on glass, on trim, on rubber. It's safe on chrome, it's safe on paint protection film. So they wanted this to be a very versatile form of paint protection in an easy to use format. So this is a spray, your standard spray and wipe application. The expected durability is upwards of 6 months, possibly more than that if you're maintaining the paint on a regular basis. And so this can certainly be used as a standalone form of paint protection. If you've gone ahead and clayed and polished the paint out, this product is going to love bonding to that fresh surface, that fresh layer of clear coat. And that's going to be how you're going to maximize the durability out of ceramic 3-in-1 wax here. However, the versatility out of this product here is you can also use it on top of a lot of existing products. So if you're working with polywax or you've got the Best of Show paste waxes on the paint already, you can go ahead and use this as a topper to those products. Now, it's also going to be able to accept a wide variety of different toppers to maintain itself. So you can spray Best of Show detailer on top of the ceramic 3-in-1 wax if you want to maintain it over the weeks or months. It's not going to have an issue with that. You can do speed shine, you can do the spray waxes. So it's going to be able to be very versatile in the manner at which you want to use it. So that's the product pitch. That's sort of my observations on the direction that Griot's wanted to go with for this product here. And so in this video, I'm going to cover a few different testing topics. I'm going to do a baseline water behavior result. We're going to see how hydrophobic it is in the short term. I've prepped the paint using the Boss Perfecting Cream. That's their finishing polish. I followed that up with Clean Strips Prep All as a panel wipe. And I was using Perfecting Cream on a yellow Rupes polishing pad on the new Griot's G9 polisher, which has been an outstanding polisher. I've had it for about 4.5 months now. I might have to do a video review of that coming up in the future for you guys. Let me know if you want me to do that in the comment section below. I've got the ceramic 3-in-1 wax on the left half of the hood. I've got the Griot's Garage Best of Show spray wax on the right half. These were both applied 2 days ago on the paint. And I wanted to pair these two up against each other just to highlight the difference in performance, especially in the stress test once we start trying to strip them from the paint. But you can see the level of gloss that it offers on the test panel here. I mean, both products are going to be very comparable in terms of gloss, especially on perfected paint like this. I mean, I polished this panel to absolute maximum. And in terms of application compared to one another, I think the Best of Show spray wax is a bit more, I want to say oily, but it's when I talk about products having more residuals left behind on the paint after I try and wipe them and buff them off, I'm going to see those residuals more with the Best of Show spray wax side compared to the ceramic 3-in-1 wax. And some of those oils or residuals, when they're on the surface, can actually increase the depth of the paint when the sun hits it. But on this type of lighter panel, that's not usually something that I can really notice on this type of color here. This is like in between a gray and a darker silver color. But in the rinse test here, you can see both products are nicely hydrophobic. I think the Best of Show spray wax is going to slightly edge out ceramic 3-in-1 in the immediate short term. But I would say the hydrophobics on both products in the short term is pretty good. But jumping back into the application of ceramic 3-in-1 wax, I thought it gave me a super crispy, clean wipe down. Mist it onto the paint, wipe it in real quick, and then flip the towel over or have a separate dry microfiber towel to give it that final wipe down. And I was not seeing any sort of residuals left behind on the surface. No sorts of oily streaking, none of that was going on. So that was one of their focus points for this product, is to get a very easy on-off application. But you can see both products are going to give you very nice tight beading in the short term. All right, so I've gone ahead and washed the paint using CarPro Reset, and I can see here it might be a little bit difficult for the camera to pick up, but I'm definitely seeing much more of an ability for the ceramic 3-in-1 wax to want to repel all the soap off the paint before we rinse the surface. And I've been attributing that type of performance with oleophobicity. And maybe if I have any chemists watching this video, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section below on whether or not I'm using the right phobia term. But oleophobicity is a rejection of oils on the surface. So a lot of our smartphone screens comes with an oleophobic coating that really resists the oils in our fingers and prevents a lot of the smudging. But on the paint here, it's not just resisting the oils. It wants to resist the surfactants and the detergents and the cleaners and the greasers. And so when I'm testing these products, the first clue that a product is going to give me that it's highly chemically resistant is how it performs when it's repelling the soap off the surface when I do the first wash test. So you can see here, both products are hydrophobic, and they're pretty comparable on how hydrophobic they are in the short term. However, the ceramic 3-in-1 wax is going to benefit you by combining that hydrophobicity with its oleophobic nature. And we're going to see the benefits of that when I do the stress test with Poorboy's World Strip Down. All right, so I've got the strip down out. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys if we can chemically remove each product from the paint in the very short term. Now, normally you wouldn't be trying to remove products that are this fresh on the paint from the surface, but this type of test is really going to provide me some valuable information that I want to know about each product in the short term. Number one is just how difficult is it going to be able to remove these products if I do want to switch things up in the short term. So let's say you have a customer, maybe have applied ceramic 3-in-1 to their paint. Maybe they're not happy with how it looked, and they want to try something different. Maybe they want to bump up to a full-blown ceramic paint coating. Can I remove the product chemically from the paint without having to go back and repolish or use abrasives to polish the surface out? So this test is going to help me answer that question for you guys. And some guys might find that, products that perform well in this type of test, that could be a bad thing, it could be a good thing. Good thing for performance and durability. Bad thing because, if things do go wrong or you do want to switch things up, some products are going to take more of a prepping step to really provide that clean slate to be able to apply a fresh new product on the surface. Now, I'll talk a little bit about Poorboy Strip Down while I'm spraying it on the surface. This is a high-quality, dedicated wax and sealant stripper. It's not cheap. It's about $50 for a gallon of this product. And it has been very effective in trying to knock down a wide variety of different products when they're fresh on the paint. And so what I did for this test is I did the first initial rinse to show you guys that the products were still on the surface. I went ahead and dried the majority of the water off the paint because I found that strip down could be more effective when the paint is not fully saturated with water. So I backed off on the pressure washer and gave it a light misting across the entire panel. I don't want to be spraying strip down on dry paint. And that's because I found it can be more effective when there is a little bit of water on the surface before you spray it down. So what I'm seeing here is, look at the difference between the left side with the ceramic 3-in-1 wax and how it's wanting to repel strip down more effectively compared to the best of show side. So its oleophobic nature is trying to kick in a little bit and wanting to repel the strip down on it. So at this point, what you do is you take your wash soap that you're working with. I like to take my wash mitt and wring it out a little bit, not fully, but I don't want it to be fully saturated with soap and water. So I wring it out a little bit, and then I'm going to go over the paint, and I put a medium amount of pressure on here. Again, I'm trying to agitate the surface with the strip down mixed in with the soap to try and get some form of removal. And I'm using more pressure here than I would be using during a regular wash. But again, this is because these products are fresh, and man, when I'm working with strip down on top of older waxes or older sealants, it usually does a really good job in knocking those down pretty quickly without having me using a lot of pressure with the wash mitt. And once again, guys, you can see on the left side with ceramic 3-in-1 wax, its ability to really want to repel both the strip down and the soap from the surface at the same time here. And it's just a night and day difference from the left side compared to the right side with the best of show spray wax. And that's going to be some of the differences that you guys are going to be seeing with this new age of consumer grade ceramic products. And I say consumer grade because these are products that you can pick up over the counter. What they're aiming for is better hydrophobicity that lasts longer, protection that lasts longer, and a better form of performance that comes in this feature of being more chemically resistant and more resilient to stripping products. And so that's what I'm noticing out of ceramic 3-in-1 wax here on the left side. It's just incredibly resistant against strip down in the short term. And you can see that stark difference in the performance with here on this side with the best of show spray wax. It's just nowhere near at the same level. And this type of performance out of ceramic 3-in-1 wax is extremely good because there's no areas that I'm seeing where the product has been significantly weakened. And there have been some products that I've tested against strip down that have been mildly effective in trying to resist it. And you can see in those cases where it's significantly degraded the surface, but not just slow water sheeting. Sometimes you can really see a significant etching where strip down has tried to remove that top surface layer of that type of protection. I'm not seeing any of that with the ceramic 3-in-1 wax side here. This is just a super clean resistance. And I don't have to go over after the fact. Usually I take a microfiber towel, I wipe the surface down to remove any leftover surfactants that might have been left behind from strip down, but I mean, I don't have to do that here in this case. It's just a super clean resistance, and this is the biggest evidence in the short term that I can give you guys between the difference in the performance of ceramic 3-in-1 wax compared to the Best of Show spray wax here. In this clip, I'm going to do an application demonstration for how I apply ceramic 3-in-1 wax to the paint, and then I'm also going to do a curing validation test. So after you apply this product to the paint, you want to wait that 12 to 24 hour period before this gets wet, before you wash it, before you top it with other products, and that's how you're going to get the maximum durability out of that one coat. But on my tests, I want to show you guys what happens when we rinse this immediately after we apply it to the paint. I'm going to show you what happens when we wash it, and then I'm going to put strip down on top of that just to see if we really need to worry about following that 12 to 24 hour cure period down to a T in order to get decent performance. And so you can see I've done a couple sprays on the panel. I'm wiping it in with a microfiber towel, and you want to flip the towel over to give that final wipe down, or if you're working across the entire car, as your towel becomes saturated with product, you want to have a separate dry microfiber towel to give it that final wipe down. Super smooth to apply and buff into the paint, guys. You can't really mess this up. It's just really easy to work with. Nice slick surface, great gloss. And this product does smell good too. I don't know what scent this is, but I'm liking it. It's not bad. And if you guys are noticing any unevenness or any sort of blotchiness or streaking, go ahead and just spray this back onto the surface of those areas and then work it back into the paint, and that should clean those areas up. Griot also makes a note that you can use this as a drying aid, so when the paint is still wet, after you've washed it, you can spray this onto the surface and then go over it with your drying towel. That should help seal the paint and protect it and dry it all at the same time. And I found that it does work well as a drying aid. However, if you guys are running any sort of drying aid, make sure you set aside a dedicated drying towel specifically for that task. Sometimes your drying aids can remove or reduce some of the performance, the absorbency performance of your drying towel. So you want to make sure you have a towel set up specifically for use as a drying aid. I don't know the long-term implications of using this over time as a drying aid, what that's going to do to your drying towel, but as long as you're using this on a regular basis with the same drying towel as a drying aid, that system should work. It's just if you take that drying towel and start trying to use it on dry paint without any sort of drying aid, then that towel might not be as effective anymore in trying to absorb the water into it. The fibers could end up becoming hydrophobic. So on the first rinse here, after immediately applying ceramic 3-in-1 to the paint, it's going to take a little bit of time for the pressure washer and the water to actually build up that hydrophobic surface out of the product. So you've got those residuals at the microfiber towel. It looks like you're getting a clean wipe down, but sometimes the residuals can be left behind that actually stunt the hydrophobics for a little bit. And then as you continue to rinse, it helps power through some of those residuals, and you end up with a more hydrophobic surface after a couple seconds of rinsing. So that's what I'm seeing here. The hydrophobics look still pretty good. And so I'm going to do a quick wash again with CarPro Reset, and I ended up washing the mitt out. I fully rinsed it out, so all of the strip down was cleaned out of the mitt before I dumped it back into the soap solution. So this is CarPro Reset by itself, and again, you can see that oleophobic nature of the product doing its work. It wants to repel the soap off the surface. And so what this test is going to showcase here, this is video evidence that yes, you do want to follow the manufacturer's recommended instructions for their product. You want to wait that 12 to 24 hour cure period if you can. However, if the paint happens to get wet, like you got a rainstorm and you've recently applied ceramic 3-in-1 to the paint, it's still going to be able to perform at a very good level. Okay, so I've reapplied Poorboy stripped onto the surface and gone over it with the wash mitt. You can see here we're still getting a very high level of repellency and survivability out of the product, even though we haven't given it any sort of curing time. And so this brings up another important topic. This product can be difficult. Ceramic 3-in-1 wax, when it's fresh on the paint, can be difficult to remove chemically without using a physical method of removal, like pulling out the polisher and grabbing your polishing pad and using an abrasive like perfecting cream. And you can still use products on top of this. If you want to revert back to the paste wax, you can go right over on top of this surface with the paste wax, and you're not going to run into trouble. But if you're a professional, let's say, I've applied this on a customer's car and they want to bump up to a full-blown ceramic paint coating, I'm pulling out the polisher, I'm grabbing perfecting cream, I'm going to at least do a finishing polish on the surface to abrade this from the paint. And there are also non-abrasive paint cleansers that you can buy that are going to help scrub the paint, scrub the fresh products from the surface without abrading through the clear coat. But generally, every single test that I do, I'm pulling out the polisher. I've got the light finishing polish to help scrub the paint to provide that clean slate. All right, so my first impressions of using ceramic 3-in-1 wax here, it's very good. It's done well in the short-term test. And 3-in-1 in the name here stands for their hydrophobic polymers mixed in with the silicon dioxide, that's their active ingredient, the SiO2, mixed in with carnauba wax. So you've got three main components that are providing the hydrophobic performance, protection and durability, as well as gloss. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this holds up in the long term. I've got a test spot brewing on the daily driver, so stay tuned for durability results coming up in the future, guys. But the new ceramic 3-in-1 wax here is going to run you $20 for 22 fluid ounces. I picked this one up at AutoZone. It was already on the shelf. I don't believe it's available on Amazon yet as of the release of this video. When it does become available, I have a link set up in the description below so that you guys can check that out on Amazon. That helps support the channel for additional testing. My subscribers, get down in the comment section below. I love hearing you guys' feedback. Let me know what products you want me to test out. Let me know if you've tried out ceramic 3-in-1 wax as well. I want to see how it's been working for you guys if you guys have already gotten your hands on it. But that's going to be it for this video. I appreciate your guys' support. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the like button. Consider subscribing for additional content. Stay tuned for additional testing coming up in the future, and I will see you all in the next video.